Allow the children to attend the budget every year. It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. She off your mind. Like me.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go sama us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Him go touchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego diary politico, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. My ego diary politico, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my egun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my egun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my egun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Mayegun diary politico. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. àní ẹ̀sùn rájú. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Àní ẹ̀sùn rájú. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Àní ẹ̀sùn rájú.
Today. Hello there, brethren. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And a good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. It is Mayegun live. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to the Temple of Truth tonight. After reading the caption of this broadcast, kindly read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them to join us, Mayegun today, and thank you if you have done that. So, it is no longer a matter of if, it is now a matter of when is America striking some strategic locations of the terrorists in Nigeria. I think that's how we should start it. A few months back, when one of the American senators and another one was a congressman and several others who were pushing that, the advancement of the extremists, Islamic extremists in Nigeria, that is not even the real thing, but the collusion of those in government in Nigeria, like the political will to really crush these terrorists is not there. And in this sense, they wanted the United States government to wade in. That is why the rider for their campaign is that of the genocide against the Christians. Now, the argument of the Tinubu's government is that now they are not denying the killings in Nigeria. According to them, well, the narrative of saying the Christians are being targeted by jihadists is far-fetched because more Muslims are killed, which also ruined the argument because if a sort of like a sect says that they have been victims of, religious killings, while others kept quiet until the voice of the Christians seems to have gained momentum or got the attention of the American government, whatever under what disguise. So the Muslims are being killed, but the Muslims in Nigeria, who are now mostly trying to sway the argument as we speak, have always been keeping quiet. Somehow, they were never really moved until now. So the argument of Nigerian government is defeated. 3 times they have made effort to get in touch with Donald Trump's government in America. 3 times they have been denied, meaning it seems the American government have actually concluded their mind. So few days ago, President Donald Trump tweeted about this and then asked the Nigerian government to act fast. So this got some people kind of like worried. Like, was there no diplomacy or diplomatic channel where 2 leaders would discuss the issue? And once, before things goes public like this, well, diplomacy is lost because every day more Nigerians are being killed by this Fulani jihadist terrorist, Boko Haram terrorist. And they have their own enablers, people who speaks for them. The likes of Gumi and Co are continuing to pressure the government not to use any sort of like a tough hand on this terrorist. He's been an advocate of, a negotiation with this terrorist. However, Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, went on yesterday to broadcast to the people of America, especially what he is doing. And he did mention Nigeria, why Nigeria is redesignated as a country of a particular concern. Now, here is a bit of a separation. The indictment on Nigeria that blacklisted Nigeria presently is sort of like an instrument to target your government, Tinubu's government to really do their job, protect you, whether you are a Muslim or a Christian or unbeliever, what have you, protect you from the terrorists who are wielding these war weapons that you are seeing on your screen all the time in a peace meeting. How do you do peace meeting with killers, murderers, with their weapons intact, untouched, while the supposed security agents completely disarmed themselves in attending such peace meeting? All of these are all over the social media, right? I don't know what they are broadcasting to you in Nigeria, what they are showing you, but the world knows what's going on. So, based on Donald Trump's recent broadcasts and the way he kind of like phrased it, it is like they've concluded their plan. And I am aware of two things that will happen, which I'm going to throw open in the course of this conversation tonight, right? Tinubu has not addressed Nigerians since this whole thing started. His minions have been like jumping from, left, right to center in order to convince the people that, the Americans' approach is in bad faith. However, they have been failing. It's obvious that, they have no control over the issue. So today, Kanu himself kind of like referenced it in one of his, call it a fake meeting or thereabout, where Kanu said, what is ahead of Nigeria is messy. And he believed that Nigeria is in charge, and they are discussing with their friends all over the world, diplomatically, which is pure rubbish. It's not discussing with anybody. China that told America to stay off. China will do jack shit. So we are going to start with Donald Trump going from tweeting to actually broadcasting it. So this is what he said. Let's start with this.
He is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That's a legal definition. When the Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide. What horrible numbers. Something has to be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and to report back to me. And I mean, like, immediately. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. It's not only Nigeria, it's all over. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. This is not going to happen. The killing of Christians is not going to. If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about, and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. These are cherished people. These are great people. Leave them alone. Warning. The Nigerian government better move fast before it's too late. If they don't, there's going to be hell to pay. He is facing.
Now that's Donald Trump in his element. Is he bluffing? Well, no matter what or how you see Donald Trump as, or see him for whatever, right? One thing is that when it comes to blowing things up, then he is not bluffing. Now, I need to give you context as well. To those of you who felt like, maybe this is just from the blues, especially those of you who have been fed with the propaganda of the APC, those of you who have been gaslighted, you are being called unpatriotic simply because you have run out of all options. Many of you never believed Nigeria will get to this stage, ever. That your government will become so compromised that terrorists will be roaming about, Nigerians will be dying in droves, Nigerians will be kidnapped in droves, and your government will appear so helpless. But the moment you decided to protest against these old killings, bad governance, then you will see all kinds of weapons, military formations, security formations, all of them on the street shooting at you. So you realize that your government is the terrorist in this regard. They continue to gaslight you, tell you that to placate these terrorists, then you need to part with your land, because that's the only solution they have for you. So you've lost all hope. Behind the scene, as many of you are living your Owambe life away from the war zones, and you are being fed with the fantasy of renewed shege. There are those who are living their own Sudan in Nigeria. There are those who are living their own Ukraine inside Nigeria. There are those who are living their own Gaza inside Nigeria, and even worse. You understand? The rest of the world looked away because your government is looking away. To them, talking about it is going to upset some certain people, and they are going to lose votes. They're going to lose elections, something. Tinubu and his gang are more interested in their 2027 elections than actually running the country. Other than looting the country carelessly and, shamelessly. They care no hoot about you, rather about their 2027 and how they are looking. Now, this has cut off with them, because behind the scene, there were those who are the victims of these killings inside Nigeria for years. They have been lobbying everywhere they could lobby. European Union, American Union, this one union, all over the world. And it was like the whole world gave no shit about them. Until Donald Trump decided to look into it, and everybody's now interested. Everybody's now like analysts of what is really, what do you think constitutes genocide? What do you think does it constitute a Christian genocide, Muslim genocide? Or is it just security problem? Oh, terrorism. They are all analyzing that. But for years, people have been in the trenches, keeping records, documenting all these atrocities, as well as the role of Nigerian government, the collusion of the military, and, all over the place. Here is one, and this one is actually coming from someone who is from the middle belt of Nigeria that has suffered greatly in the hands of these murderous jihadists that some of you are now beginning to try to play down, because to you, Nigeria can handle it. Well, here is somebody from their homeland. It is a long watch. Please take your time. Please.
Oh my God, so I'm very excited, very, very excited that President Trump has finally designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern. You see, on Tuesday this week, Tuesday, October 28, 2025, around 11 a.m. Oklahoma time, that's Central Standard Time, United States, I got a call from Jesse Sutherland, the policy advisor to the senior senator from Oklahoma, Senator James Langford. That's one of the signatories to Senator Ted Cruz's bill. The message was just simple and direct. Frank, can you write a reminder to the letter sent to this office to be forwarded to the Department of State? So the Department of State, that is the office of the Secretary of State of the United States, Marco Rubio, was asking for a reminder, because they don't want to act so moto. They want to act as a response to a call made by Nigerians. So I wrote that letter immediately and sent to the office of Senator James Langford. That was on Tuesday, October 28, 2025. And today, which is Friday, October 31st, 2025, by 12:29 p.m., Jesse Sunderland, the policy advisor to Senator Langford, called me. And his message was just direct. Hold on, the senator wants to speak with you. And Senator Langford was like, Frank, the president has just designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern. So I want to thank all those Nigerians who have been advocating for this, starting with my bishop, the bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Makurdi, Bishop Anagbe, and all the Reverend Fathers of Benue origin in the United States here, and very particularly to the guys at Equipping the Persecuted, very great man, Judge Saul, who has been there for Nigerian persecuted Christians, the guys at Truth Nigeria, Doug Barton, who himself was a former staff of the State Department, and Mike Arnold, and of course all the senators and the House of Rep members. You know, Trump has officially designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, which was our call. When Yerwata happened on June 13 and 14, I told myself that Yerwata would be the catalyst for a lot of things to happen to shake the very foundation of Nigeria in the war against terrorism, especially Fulani terrorism and the genocide against Christians in Nigeria. Yerwata served as a catalyst. The killings of 13 and 14. And so I want to say, my kinsmen in their graves, they'll be happy that the world is taking an action over the genocide that has happened. But very importantly, we so much desire this country of particular concern designation because it will change a lot of things. First of all, a lot of people were asking the implications. I've said it in several of my videos. There'll be trade embargo on Nigeria, there'll be arms. They are not doing anything with the arms. They are giving arms to soldiers, and soldiers are just shooting in the sky anytime these Fulani come to kill people. Nigeria will be crying for Tucano all this while. They've given Nigeria the Tucano US, and they've done nothing to stop this. Okay, if you go through Trump's statement very well, he say, I'm hereby designating Nigeria as a country of particular concern. And that is the list of it. Observe that. He say, and that is the list. The list is the designation. The most important thing is what comes on after this designation. These guys have the list of all those guys who are doing these things. They will freeze their accounts. They will place a travel ban on them. They will freeze their assets all over the world. They will go after them. And when it is becoming too hard, they will intervene directly themselves, the way they release some stuff to Iran. So the way the Air Force base is just right here where the two B-2 Spirit bombers are. It's just right here. And then they will go after their transaction, their financial transaction, because most of those guys, they transact with the American dollars and they transact using Visa card and MasterCard, and so it goes through American financial institutions. They have the names of these people. These people are in the federal government of Nigeria, the sponsors of this Fulani Jihad, the genocide in Nigeria. They are in the state government as governors. They are amongst the traditional institutions, from the top echelon of the Islamic traditional institutions in Nigeria to the Emirates, all the emirs. All these chiefs around in Nasarawa State are also involved. So the United States, so every patriotic Nigeria, those of us who call for this designation as the most patriotic Nigeria, because we want a solution. The solution was at hand and the government could not use it for political correctness, still protecting the sponsors of these killings. So right now with this designation, it is a notice to the entire world that genocide of Christians is happening in Nigeria. And other countries in the European Union, the United Kingdom, and Canada will also act. So we are very happy with this designation. And right now, after this designation, we are going to continue following this matter to make sure that the other repercussions are put in place. Sanction of these guys
is not wrong. Now, let me explain it to us in our own language to simplify it. So you see, the list is the designation. The designation. Because like he said, the names of all these guys, from the state governors to traditional rulers, to all these sheikh and preachers in northern Nigeria, to military personnel, to politicians who are appointees of the federal government of Nigeria, they do know them. And Nigeria know them as well. The Tinubu and this gang, they have their names, they have all that. But like he said, for political correctness, they would rather not touch them or continue to kind of like manage them rather than crush them. You see this designation, right? Would then be able to allow the US, like he said, to now pinpoint these individuals, cut their finances or their financial, movement and the rest. And at the same time, place sanctions on those who are in government so that they can put searchlight on the individual of them. Confiscated their, freeze their assets, all over the world. And it's not limited. On the issue of arms embargo on Nigeria, APC deployed the same for political gain in 2015. And Nigeria ended up as the terror capital of the world in 10 years of their rule. Now, in this sense, we have seen the Boko Haram, the Fulani terrorists, attacked military base, like you dey mad, you be terrorists, you can't go military base. Is that not supposed to be your end? And we have seen Nigerian soldiers run away and they left the entire base for these terrorists to cut away all the weapons. Now we have terrorists in Nigeria who have gun-mounted trucks. You get that now, like trucks with guns, machine guns mounted on them, like war machine. The trucks are military trucks. The guns are military guns. And ammunitions they are using, like more than 80% of them are stolen from Nigeria. There are those who are actually selling to them. They have a general convicted of stealing the military weapons and selling them to Boko Haram. He got pardoned by Tinubu, by the way. Right? So, after sanctions, what comes next is the airstrike. The airstrikes in this sense means they already know, like Nigeria does as well, right? They already know the strategic locations of these terrorists. At least there is a Sheikh, Abidan Sheikh Osama bin Kumi from Kaduna, who has been meeting with these terrorists, and he has been an advocate of negotiate with terrorists. So if Kumi could know the locations of these terrorists, Nigeria also know the location of the terrorists, and America does too. So what that means is that without Nigeria's permission, America will bring either their drones or their fighter jets or what have you, and they will drop bombs in strategic locations. But there is more. And somehow, I don't know if I should say, amen to it or not. If things get to that level, Nigeria will no longer remain what Nigeria is anymore. Yes. Because from what I have also gathered, again, this is unverified, but it's part of the flying information here and there, is that America actually planned to crush the entire Islamic jihadists and the Islamic, all these blasphemies promoters in northern Nigeria, which will indeed or could lead to the entire destruction of the Emirates in Nigeria. Sultanate, Emirate, all those things, as you see them today, which, as you know, right, will probably be like an everlasting fight, a civil war, or any other thing. That's why I said, don't take it like, like a done deal. That's like the extreme it can go. Because they believed that the ideology, that this violent ideology that is spreading in Nigeria, for example, is a threat to America. Because as big as Nigeria is, if terrorism of this religious extremism is allowed to fester the way it is, or it has been allowed for this long, if it is allowed to continue, what would then happen is that Nigeria will become a breeding ground for the world Islamic terrorists, as it's already building, where attacks could be launched on America from Nigeria. Ridiculous, Abi? Sounds ridiculous. Well, not to them. So AFRICOM, which is is that what they call them, AFRICOM or something? The American military base in, in Africa. They have therefore put together a plan that includes America sending 2 warships, one to the Gulf of Guinea, close to that your West African water coast, where they will be launching, the kind of like, constant attacks on these locations, which can last for days. Nigerian government will just be like, what's going on? Now, if Nigerian government, for instance, feels like this is, this is an act of war, because if American comes in and be dropping bomb in these places, Nigeria as a sovereign country will have the right to respond. So what does that mean? If Nigerian government or Nigerian military or air force responded, right, by, attacking the Americans' assault, that automatically will lead to something that will escalate, which means America will then go ahead and take out all the military formations of Nigeria. Those places like your main military airport, all those places, they will take them out within hours. So at that point, this may change the trajectory of Nigeria forever. Extreme, yeah? Well, that's how much they are ahead that they want to go. How can they stop all that? In 2023, before this Rebadom decided to hire social media influencers to be promoting him as the best thing that happened to Nigeria after the invention of sliced bread, he was almost on his knees begging the Americans in 2023 to come and save them and give them freedom in Nigeria. He is the National Security Advisor to Tinubu. Please watch this.
This is the cause of all the other problems. It must be given priority. And let's stop these terrorists. Let's stop these bandits. Let's stop these extremists. Let's stop them. The world can do it. Let us be given back our freedom. We want to live like the rest of the world. They have robbed us of our freedom, of doing basic things. You can't live normal.
We want to live normal like the rest of the world. Please help us. Let's crush these extremists. They have denied us of our freedom. That is the National Security Advisor to Tinubu, who is now part of those sponsoring their own deflective propaganda. America want to come and take your resources. I don't have control over what America will do right now. And it seems that Tinubu and his gang have no control as well. So, for you to also realize that this is a long, it's like, for those who probably should have seen it like long coming, okay? There was a conversation around this issue of genocide in Nigeria. And there is this American who's visited Nigeria, Plateau State to be precise, and witnessed some of the massacre that happened. Spoke to the victims. Met with government officials and realized that, man, this is an hopeless situation. The people cannot be saved by the people who are behind their own, this whole tragedy. That conversation also can be added to what you can say build up to the reactions you are witnessing today. It wasn't an impromptu. It wasn't something that they just slept and woke up, because they have made you, right, live in this bubble of lies for so long. And Nigeria media are culprits. A lot going on in Nigeria that should ordinarily get you so angry, so mad, and question the existence of this country. What is the mess these guys have made of Nigeria. But they have succeeded in distracting you with some stupid things. And right now that the fire is on the mountain, you don't even know how to react. Years this has been happening. And for years, these guys have been using their usual propaganda, crush them tactic to bury it. They want you to react. You don't even know how to react. America is coming to, we don't want, you know what I mean? You don't even know how to react because you have no idea the kind of mess these guys have dipped us into. All of us. But watch this.
What on earth is happening in Nigeria? And can you explain how the U.S. has actually been complicit in allowing this to happen by blaming it instead of on ideology? They have pointed the finger at climate change.
Well, even just earlier this month, there was a pastor in Plateau State, and he said there are Fulani militants who are amassing right near villages. In this area in Plateau, I visited there. They had been attacked on Christmas Eve in 2023. I visited many villages there. One of the villages there, the first one that was attacked, 8 p.m. Christmas Eve, they came in, they burned the pastor's home. I was speaking with the new pastor because they killed the previous pastor. They took him and his family behind the church to a single tree out there. They said, this is where we found his body. In the morning, we found his head out in the field. And that's one death. 7,000 this year. Thousands before that. So this pastor who earlier this month was warning, sent a message directly to the army, said, they're amassing, they're about to attack, we know what's going to happen. The army, you can go read this right now on X if you have social media, put up a statement saying that pastor was causing disunity, misinformation, and we're watching him. That evening, 13 Christians were killed in those villages. No apology, no action taken, nothing, and he's warning about it again. That happens week after week after week in Plateau State, in Benue State, in Kaduna, throughout the Northeast, throughout the Northwest, and it's shocking. It's true, there are people, both Nigerian officials and people all around the world that deny this entirely, that there is no religious persecution, that it is just land grabbing or it's climate change.
Not just the Nigerians, the State Department's official position for years has been that the Fulani militia are nomadic herdsmen who happen to be Muslim, but that's got nothing to do with it, and they're being forced to move south from the north. Nigeria is roughly Muslim north, Christian south, and these are the villages that are along that line of demarcation, and that they're being pushed into these Christian villages and they're clashing over resources.
And when the Biden administration removed the designation from Nigeria in 2021, the U.S. Commission on International Religious Freedom, many of the people in the room said that was shameful. And it made no sense. There was no explanation given. I think there is this sense sometimes that because it's Christians being persecuted, we're going to wave away that specific element. We're not going to pay attention to it because it's Christians being targeted. We're going to blame it. We're going to find every other excuse possible. But if you don't identify what is at the core, and these are jihadists, they are Islamists who are doing this attacking. There's 22 jihadist groups throughout Nigeria. If you don't identify what is causing that, then you're not going to get the resources there. You're not going to protect those people. You're going to do things like sending peacekeeping missions to the jihadists themselves to try to negotiate with them, where you negotiate that we're going to give land away that's been stolen from these Christian villages. The attack you mentioned, where they were putting women and children in caves, those women and children were from internally displaced camps. They had already fled their villages because they had been taken over, and we still don't know. The estimate is 280, I think, who were killed in that attack back in June in Yelawada, Benue State. We still don't know the exact numbers because when they poured gasoline on their bodies and burnt them, their bodies melted together. It's absolutely horrific, and it is a shame that more is not being done. And we pray, we hope that this administration will do more. We'll put that designation back there. It's been amazing the last month, seeing how many people worldwide. You see soccer games, people unfurling banners saying, protect the Christians in Nigeria. And we need more of that. We need everybody who's watching to talk to their friends, to write the White House, to write their congressmen, to speak out and say, this is intolerable, it has to stop.
So one of the things I think people may not be aware of is that Nigeria was the scene of the first jihad, and the first caliph was Usman bin Fodio, and the capital of that territory was Sopoko, which is the capital of northern Nigeria. And, you know, if people think that these things are very far removed from American politics, they may find it interesting that when Goodluck Jonathan, the Christian president of Nigeria, was in power running for election under Obama, his rival for the office was Muhammad Buhari, who was a former military commander who had tried to conduct a coup before and failed. And when Obama was in office, he never visited Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa. And instead, during his second term, during the election, he sent John Kerry, Secretary of State, who went to where? Not to Abuja, the Christian capital of the Christian South, which is actually the capital of the country, but to Sopoko in the north, the historic bedrock of Islamic jihad within the ideology of Islamic jihad extremism. So, and interestingly, Muhammad Buhari, one of his campaign advisors was David Axelrod. So these things are not as far removed from us as we think they are, and we have a very extensive role actually in what goes on in these countries that people are often not aware of. And I just wonder what are the most urgent, give me 3 of the most urgent things the United States can do right now that will have an immediate impact on the ground. I know sanctions are important and all of those things, but right now, because the Nigerian government is able to deny this is happening, in part because the United States of America has denied this is happening.
It's a great question, and so the first thing is to just say it, to say what is happening, to say that the denials are wrong, to say that there is religious persecution, there's disproportionate targeting of Christians that is happening. It's a Christian is more likely to be killed in Nigeria than a Muslim by 5, 6, 7 times when you look at the populations. The Middle Belt is the area where the most persecution is happening, and that's where the most denials are. So we need more people. We need it'd be great to have more in the administration speaking out and saying those denials from the government, those are entirely wrong. This is happening right now. The country of particular concern designation, absolutely vital, because that's what's going to put pressure. You know, Nigeria, they value our economic relationship, they value the security assistance that we provide, and so, yeah, they should listen if we're saying, no, this is real, this is really happening, and I think that would go a long way. And then to follow up those specific points with action items and what we need to ask. Right now, the government of Nigeria has mostly focused on terrorism in the Northeast, which is very important. They've not really been winning that battle recently. There's been attacks on army camps over there from IS West Africa or Boko Haram, but that's where they've been focusing. They focused not one iota on the Middle Belt. They haven't focused that much on the Northwest. And so we need to tell them, you have to put those resources. When you get those early warnings, you need to go out and you need to find the terrorists and you need to defeat them. You have to return the IDPs. It's millions of IDPs that are sitting they're huddled together, thousands at a time, with horrible health care, horrible resources, and they're just waiting. They're not able to do anything. They're not able to build lives. They need to be brought back to their lands. They need to defeat the jihadists who've taken over their lands, make sure that's happening. And earlier, Congressman Walker mentioned some of the blasphemy laws. Nigeria has one of the worst blasphemy laws in the entire world. It's one of only 7 places in the world that you can be killed for given the death penalty for alleged blasphemy against the Prophet Muhammad. That's outrageous. There's no reason they need to enforce that. They need to repeal that. And so pushing to make sure that that happens. In Sokoto State, there was a young woman, Deborah Yakubu. She was a Christian student. This is May 2022. She was burned by 50 of her classmates, and they videoed it while they were shouting Allahu Akbar, and they put it all over the internet so that everybody would know what they meant. No one has been held accountable for that. Nobody is held accountable for these mob violence actions that happen again and again and again, and it's outrageous. And so we need to make sure that those things, those are the action items, those are the things that the government needs to do if they want to be removed from the CPC list, and if they want to have economic flourishing, if they want to have a good developing country. You can't have an economy when you have terrorists running rampant and burning villages all throughout your country, and especially in those agricultural areas that are the places feeding you. You have massive starvation in Nigeria right now because of these terrorists. It has to be put to a stop.
What on earth is happening?
It's got to stop. It's just got to, that's an American giving you detailed atrocities and the collusion of the Nigerian government, the atrocities of these terrorists, as well as the collusion of the government, who continue to give excuses after excuses. Nigerians are being chased away from their homes by these armed jihadists. They are being chased away from their homes. Those who couldn't were killed. And these lands have been taken over. The government of Nigeria is aware. Nigerian government is aware that millions of Nigerians are living in refugee camps. Millions. For a country that is not fighting war. Don't cause war in Nigeria. Oh, you these people, you want to cause war in Nigeria? You want to cause religious war in Nigeria? Man, do you think those Nigerians who are children, including children, who are living horribly in different makeshift IDP camps, refugee camps in their own country, do you really think they don't know that Nigeria is at war? Because you still have to go to your own club. Yeah, you still club at, every weekend. You still do your own wambe every weekend. Some of you are pretty much far away from reality because that's exactly where they want you to be. But there is a reason why Arewa is very much kind of like enraged right now and scared, including Tinubu. People have been saying Nigeria will break up, Nigeria will break up. America predicted that Nigeria will break up in 2015. So it didn't happen. So Nigeria held on up to 2025. Now, Nigeria is at the verge, at the cliff of breaking up. I mean, it is never much pronounced than now. You know what I mean? Is America going to help facilitate that? I don't know. But if this gets so escalated as it is being planned, the plot is to remove the idea or the ideology of this extremism completely from root, not just killing the terrorists. No. In fact, it could also lead to Tinubu not even completing his own term as your president. There's a lot that can happen. There's a lot that can go wrong. So the Arewa are very much oblivious of that. And as we speak, if you know America very well and their geopolitics, if that is their end goal, una better start getting ready for the spillover. So yesterday, or the day before yesterday, and even yesterday, and possibly today as well, Sheikh Osama bin Gumi has been all over the place, threatening everyone. First, he's telling us that America, what is their business? Like, you know what I mean? That they are already talking to the boys. They are already talking to the boys. And the boys are already trying to come out to negotiate. They are ready to negotiate with us. So there's no point in attacking them. Yeah, he's been talking. And among the people that are going to be under the blacklist of this, their CPC, Gumi is one of them. And guess what? This is why.
We don't want to push them into that terror beyond what they are doing now, because yes, it can get worse. They have shown us their willingness to negotiate. So people that are ready to negotiate, why are you rushing to just declare them bandits so that you can use whatever weapons you bought? Before, they used to catch Boko Haram and present them to the authorities in Zamfara. But now if they're all terrorists, secondly, the only door that remains, that is we clergy, to go in and negotiate with them, is closed down permanently.
The best thing now is for Nigeria to warn the President of America and tell him to retract his threat, because it's a direct threat, even ordering the Pentagon to be ready to attack Nigeria for what? Nigeria should, the President should retract such threat, or else we sever our relationship with America. There are a lot of Christians who have known that the narrative is wrong. It's a representation of reality on ground. Many Christians know that. So Nigeria should reciprocate whatever the tune of Trump's allegations are, because he did it not in a diplomatic.
We don't want to push them.
Why are you running? Why are you running? Why are you running?
Sheikh Osama bin Gumi is asking Tinubu to sever relationship with America. Because these boys are already negotiating. These boys are like, why do you want to go after them? Why do you want to come and attack? America is not attacking Nigeria. It's not invading Nigeria. But there is a chance that America would invade the Sharia North, because their intention is not just to take out the terrorist killing people. Their intention is to destroy the base, and in itself, which will then trigger the caliphate, Sokoto Caliphate, and their emirate to call for their own proper jihad this time. And that could be anything. And it's a cause for worry. No, I mean, that's a good cause for worry. It can be like, man, I'm concerned. Because everybody believes that America is coming to come and deal with the terrorists. Precision, they are not, I mean, I believe that America is coming to deal with the terrorists. Because you see, this terrorists, the word terrorists, right, is actually very much like a wild, like, you know, it's not just those ones carrying guns. They are financiers, state governors. Here you get senators, House of Rep members, political appointees who are ministers. They will become targets. And their reactions will determine if they will be physically kind of like, you know, targeted as well. And northern Nigeria and the rest of Nigeria may not remain the same again. I am not trying to kind of like take your mind. I'm, you know, the way my own minds work based on the available information, right? Sometimes you can easily project things because things can escalate and get out of hand just like that. And we are talking about Donald Trump. Americans, or the government of America, right, especially the Democrats, they have spewed different narratives, lies, to cover up the advancement of these terrorists in Nigeria. And by removing Nigeria from that CPC list, they also set Nigeria back for another 10 years of program. Because what the intention of the CPC was to mount pressure on Buhari's government to use the equipment America gave them on the terrorists killing Nigerians. But they are not. Rather, the weapons ended up in the hands of the terrorists, and America did nothing. Now you have Donald Trump, who is always like the opposite of the Democrat in this sense. I mean, come on. Was it not just a while back, 2 years ago, that Tinubu wanted to invade Niger Republic on behalf of France and this same America? 2 years ago, Tinubu was in the good book of the Joe Biden's government, enough that he could go into an arrangement with them to invade Niger Republic and remove the military junta there and restore the removed president. Remember? Now the same America, okay, a different America, but the same America is now asking Tinubu the same thing they asked Buhari to do. Would you please deal with this terrorist? Oh, you want the Tucano jets? Yeah, we'll give you Tucano jets. You want these weapons? You want that weapons? Yeah, we'll give them. You want these particular trainings and all that? Yeah, we'll give you the trainings. America has always been there. They've always been. But the thing is that you have a compromised, you know, government structure. You have a compromised military. And them being compromised has actually cost lives and still pretty much costing lives as we speak. But Tinubu, who is actually meant to address the country and tell them state of things himself, is hiding inside the rock. And today they posted a video of him and they said that was him replying Trump. I know that wasn't like sensible, but yeah, that's the best they've got. Oh, this is the best they've got.
The most important thing is the fact that despite the political headwind and the fear of our people, we continue to engage with our partners. The success of the 2.3 billion bond, subscription, oversubscribed, is the most at this stage. So the task ahead is immense. We are engaging the world diplomatically. And we assure all of you that we will, defeat terrorism in this country. The task ahead is immense, but it's our resolve to move forward with unity and purpose, guided by renewed hope agenda to build a prosperous, inclusive, and resilient Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
So to Tinubu, no matter what Trump is saying he wants to do, they are dealing with the world diplomatically. I mean, take for example, they wanted to raise $2.1 billion from the bond, Nigerian bond. They want to raise that from the stock market. And it got oversubscribed. Guess how much people subscribed or oversubscribed? Almost $12.5 billion. So to Tinubu, it was like, you see, the rest of the world still believe in my policy, in my in my reform. Alaye, do you not even understand? Like, it is the cheapest way to make money from you. You are raising free cash in that sense, right? The money you are going to use a crude oil to pay for in a year or two time, right? Or sorry, in 10 years. That's what they are raising. They're raising a bond for 10 years. So if you buy it, it will take 10 years before it matured, right? That's what they are doing. So you go oversubscribed at a 9% interest. So those who get money don't put money. But to Tinubu, that's to tell you that Nigeria is working fine, and the rest of the world believed in this reform. Forget about Trump. Nothing concrete, but the mess ahead. There is a mess ahead. There is also a possibility of a regime change in Nigeria in the coming weeks and months. I'll tell you what is projected. America, or Trump and his team, believes that if Tinubu's government, like Buhari's government, if Tinubu's government failed to act and deal with these terrorists, then it will rest upon America to facilitate a regime change in Nigeria and bring in a real government that can deal with the terrorists from its root, the sponsor, the finance, and the rest of that. Now, that is also something that now these two scenarios, going after the caliphate that are promoting the Sharia law, blaspheming law, spreading this extremism over Nigeria, watching this genocide go on, while they also claim that the Muslims are being killed, yet they've done nothing. Because, well, the Muslims killed in the course of their jihad, their collateral damage to this Uthman Danfodio descendant in Nigeria. So going after them will trigger their base to say they want to share you get. But eventually, right, it will balkanize Nigeria. But we'll get to that. Or get rid of this Mumu ticket, Muslim government in Nigeria, who are very much biased enough to deny the existing genocide against the Christians in Nigeria. See the two options. These two options, from what I have heard, they are open. They remain open. So Tinubu's government or Tinubu's regime are stylishly molding the minds of their base and other Nigerians who don't even like them, right? That, listen, this is like a huge disgrace for Trump to call Nigeria a now disgraced country. It is your country. You may not like me. You may not like APC, but this is wrong. Nobody should treat your country like this. So they are now trying to push that sentiment, hoping that once the America gets into Nigeria, they will meet so much resentment in Nigeria who will believe that the intention is to change Tinubu, that even if you didn't like him, you will believe that, no, this is not the right way. You will likely end up on the side and join other Nigerians that are going to probably mount the streets and begin to demand that America should go. It is so complex that even the opposition in Nigeria, who pretended to be honest with you until this moment, are now walking on eggshells. They are being careful. They are being careful of what to say because they could become collateral damage in all of it. Here you get. It's like, you know what? There is a chance that this whole thing, if it is like implemented, is not just going to crash and destroy APC. It's probably going to destroy the entire system that they have all been milking for so long. That Nigeria you know of today, you may never see that anymore. So that fear is holding everybody. And without anyone taking the lead or trying to kind of face America as your government should do, just waiting in anticipation and like, what's going to happen? Okay, let's just hope that he will change his mind. Why they continue. So they are working on you as we speak, hoping that this sort of thing, when it catches up with them, you're going to be on their side. You're going to be a patriotic Nigerian who is going to feel offended, very upset that America is doing this. What the heck? What the hell? I hope it won't get to that. And I actually hope it gets to that. All right? So in the long shot, here is another eyewitness. Part of those who contributed to what is about to happen. Watch this.
You cannot ignore the fact that there is Nigerian government complicity with these attacks. You saw some of our journalists in the documentary. We wanted to be an organization that tells the truth about what's happening in Nigeria, hence truthnigeria.com. I want to just kind of let everybody know and help you understand how Nigerian news works. If a Nigerian government official does not call for a news conference, the event did not exist. So in order for the narrative to get to the mainstream media, get picked up by Al Jazeera, get picked up by CNN, everything else, it comes from a Nigerian government source. From the very beginning, they determine the narrative. The reporters regurgitate the government narrative. We decided to be a voice and try to help change that paradigm and created Truth Nigeria to document what is actually happening. How many of you guys know that there were 10 Christians killed in Kaduna just the other day? How many of you know that there were 30 Christians killed in Plateau just a week ago? How many of you know that besides the 280 Christians that were killed in Yellowwater on June 13th, we are now about over 500 Christians that have been killed total since Yellowwater? No one knows. The media is not reporting it. Well, that's why we formed Truth Nigeria, to talk about what is going on. But also, what we pointed out in the documentary that I'd like everybody to realize is that Truth Nigeria had information that the attack on Yellowwater was going to occur 3 weeks before the attack happened. Now, when we get a terror alert, we find information, we know attacks are going to occur, our method is we issue a terror alert on our website, truthnigeria.com, but we also immediately call the local authorities. We notify the Nigerian military, the DSS, the Nigerian government, to let them know this is what we found out, this is our intelligence. Now, a day before the attack, we got word that there's movement happening. They are mobilizing, and they are coming for Yellowwater. So the day before, our team notified the government, the local authorities, the army, the police, and said, hey, there's movement, they're coming, watch out. What happened? Absolutely nothing. The government stood by and did nothing. With advance warning, multiple times. In fact, there's a military fob with soldiers that was less than a kilometer away while the attacks were going on, shooting warning shots in the air, but did not engage the terrorists as people were being burned to death, hacked to death with machetes, and being slaughtered.
These are true stories. The stories that sometimes you will see Nigerians reacting like, I didn't know that. Did you know that they've killed over 500 Christians in the Middle Belt and the other part of northern Nigeria since that Yawata killings in June. You don't know that? No. Because the Nigerian media, like he said, they do not actually do any media work. They are pretty much like the copy and paste WhatsApp group kind of broadcast team. They regurgitate everything the government shares with them. News Agency of Nigeria, NAN. And they will go on and that's it. If you dare give any contrary opinion, they will say you are doing misinformation. Government that is run, country that is run with misinformation. Where do you think it's where do you think it's headed? There are data. Now they are saying that the data they are releasing, they are not reliable data. I was like, oh, really? Could you please release the reliable one then? Nigerian government has no record of the people living in IDP camps. They do not have record of the names. They do not have the record of their ages or where they come from. Nothing. Ask Nigerian government. Ask them. Can you please provide us with the names, details of all the victims? Over 20 million Nigerians that have been displaced, living in IDP camps or completely left their communities and all that. Could you give us their details? They can't. But they'll tell you they are working on it. In northern Nigeria, they are crashing like everywhere because of this planned, precise execution of these terrorists in northern Nigeria. I've got two clips for you. The first one is this clown. And I'll share the second one, which sent his own personal threat yesterday, right? Watch this.
Yes. Good afternoon, my fellow Nigerians. Please, Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America, we heard your message. Say you are coming to bombard Nigeria. You are I am a fully retired military officer who have fight with America. I see you are fight. You don't know anything to attack. Your attack is by the air. We will work the whole air. You will never, that will be your last attack in your life. We are not Cuba. We are not Venezuela. We are not Afghanistan. Mind you, we are not Libya. Mind you, we are not Iraq. You can't do shit. You are the one. You are not the one who attacked Iraq or rather capture Osama bin Laden. You are not the one. It is NATO, not the US. US are just leading nonsense. We are waiting for you. Maybe that will be your grace in Nigeria. Please, Trump, I'm waiting for you. Call me when you land. We go fight for pistol first. Me and you. Before anything, I will get you where you are. Who are you to dictate for Nigeria? If you would like, we say Christian ticket is a problem. Muslim ticket is a problem. You cannot dictate for all. Even the Reverend Father who reported that thing is from Benue State. His brother was the one who went for coup. Okay. So it's the same coup plotters. They are nonsense. They just want to scatter Nigeria. We are doing fine. They drive you from Niger. You don't have way to park Renault and Gold and Burkina Faso and Mali. So you want to attack Nigeria? Nonsense. We are waiting for you. Fuck you, fuck your ass. So, Trump mun ji sakonka. Shugaban kasar America. Kuma wallahi ni ina jiran ka. Don Allah in ka zo ma ka kira ni in ba sai na tattafa maka mari ba shege nake. Pistol zan cire wallahi zan harbe ka don kuma. Kai din mi? Ka isa ka ba mu doka. Ka ce ga abun da za mu yi a Nigeria. Ka isa? Ya za ka ba mu doka? Kai dan Nigeria ne. Kana can America kana haukan shan gogoro. Kutumar ubanka me yasa baka ce a daina kashe mutane a Palestine ba? Me yasa baka daina cewa kashe mutane a Sudan ba? Katon banza katon wofi saboda ka za akwai uranium, akwai me yasa da Mali suka kore ka baka dawo ba? Me yasa da Burkina Faso suka kore ka baka dawo ba? Me yasa da Niger suka kore ka baka dawo ba?
Why are you running? Why are you running? Why are you running?
America is coming. That's all I can say. And pray, tell that America doesn't come. Because the story will change. You'll be so disappointed that there are willing Nigerians. Let me give you a scenario, especially those of you who are from northern Nigeria, that will push one Nigeria on the one hand, then you continue to push your bigotry, tribalism, and religious supremacy on the other hand, pretending that everybody is actually as stupid as some of you. Listen, the coming of America doesn't mean that they would need to bring their soldiers in. You know what you're going to witness? You're going to witness armed Christians now. Because America with guns and all these weapons that they are giving your government, all they have to do is to arm these locals. They will kill and kill and kill so many of you extremists who are willing to go to war for your brothers who are killing Nigerians. I promise you. Maybe you are not thinking it. Maybe none of you is thinking that, yeah? That you think America will send 10,000 soldiers to Nigeria. I don't think so. One of the things that got the Fulani terrorists, Boko Haram terrorists and others, what gives them the strength is the fact that the Nigerian government deliberately disarmed their own people. Don't think Nigerians don't know how to fight. If you check everybody's history, they will tell you how they got to where they are and how they became the ancestral landowner of the ancestral lands today. The ancestors fought, bled on those lands. It is not the first time people have attempted to kick them out of their lands. Like historically, check it. Or if you check your forefathers' history, you will realize that they bled, they sweated, they bled, they died defending that same land with whatever tool they had back then. But the moment this Nigeria happened, the criminal government in Nigeria started disarming Nigerians. We have record of that. Communities that put up a fight against the terrorists ended up being, raided by the military. Their able-bodied men are rounded up, and they are actually alleged to be the troublemakers. The media is ready to blast that all over your screen and blame the locals, defending themselves against these invaders, these marauders. So Nigerian government disarmed their own people for these terrorists. America's involvement can change all of that. Yeah, because it's a two-way thing. The reaction of Nigeria to all of this, Nigerian government, will determine indeed if they are actually truly guilty of protecting terrorists and the terror sponsors in Nigeria. Their response will determine that, like officially. For now, they don't even know how to react yet. So if Nigerian government decided to react, defensively in that way, that shows that they are actually backing the terrorists, the next phase is just going to be that the Christians in Nigeria, especially in these troubled zones, they will be given access to, sophisticated weapons and weaponry. They will be given trainings, and you will see a new set of defense against the terrorists, including those of you who are terrorist sympathizers. Have you ever thought of that? No? They are going to start religious war. They are going to get people, you are going to get yourself killed. Because the whole game is about to change. It is. Your government will be under pressure. They will no longer be able to arrest people who are defending themselves. Right? The entire thing will change. And indeed, it could actually collapse not just the caliphate. It will collapse the Tinubu's regime. And obviously may lead to the balkanization of Nigeria. They are crashing out. Now let's take a moment, right? So thank you so much to all of you who have been on this program tonight. If this is your first time, kindly take a moment, okay? And subscribe onto my channel, by the way. So we are nearly 3,000 of us on YouTube and over nearly 300 as well, 10% of that on Facebook. So please take a moment, like the broadcast as well, to show that you are here, right? Doesn't take much. You can even like the broadcast using your remote control if you're watching it on your screen. Yeah, please. Here is a second crash out on this matter.
What the Americans are looking for in this country are something greater, their own interests. Yeah. What are those interests by your own assessment?
Three things. Number one, to stop Tinubu from becoming president in 2027.
Really?
Yes, because Tinubu...
Are you sure on that?
I can swear with my Quran. Because Tinubu was among the people that contributed money to give it to Kamala Harris for her campaign. And Trump has vengeance. He will never forgive that. Look, what Trump is coming to Nigeria to do is not about Nigerians, Christians, or Nigerian Muslims. It's not about Northerners or Southerners. It's why did Tinubu, through France, mobilize? He's not alone. There are a lot of international presidents, including Macron, that mobilized money for Kamala Harris because they knew if Trump becomes American president, there's going to be a problem for the whole world. That's the first reason. Trump is getting back at Tinubu. And look, because Tinubu is quiet, meek, gentle, and humble, if you put your fingers into his mouth, he is not biting you. Doesn't mean that he can come and roughshod over Tinubu. Tinubu can fight back. That's number one reason.
Okay,
reason. Yeah. The second reason is, look, is the American stronghold in the Middle East is getting away, slipping away from their fingers. They needed another stronghold of energy resources.
What stronghold are you talking about?
The oil. In fact, as it is today, if people don't know, let me tell them categorically on this platform that the Arab kingdoms now are facing the greatest challenge of their lives. There are inside, what do you call it, storms brewing politically, because the common men are tired of those kingdoms. And it's only America that is holding them. And America's intelligence has shown that they cannot keep on holding these people in the next 10, 15 years.
So they will have now turned to new areas.
Yes. So that Nigeria is a very hot spot for them. Nigeria, Angola, you understand? Algeria. These are some of the areas that they are looking at. And I can tell you, some people are saying that, at energy experts all over the world are saying that the oil reserve in Nigeria is far more than any other Arab country, because it is energy policy that they are saying that Nigeria is beneath those particular Arab kingdoms. We have more energy resources than those Arabs. And America knew that better than anybody else. So this is the second reason. The third reason, which is very, very fundamental, is that for the first time in so long a time, since Abacha, Tinubu was the first president in this country to look away from the Western world. In fact, France is the only friend Tinubu had. And France, Nigeria is not depending on France. It is France and Macron that is depending on Tinubu and Nigeria now.
Really?
Yes. If you are a follower of international politics.
But the French are having a lot of problems in their former West African colonies.
That's why they are looking at Tinubu as a way out.
What the Americans...
I'm move past you. You know I'm rich me guy. I swear to God. That talk, I'm move past you. I'm move past you, Gege. I'm move past you. Ask anybody. See, you go argue this thing, but I swear to God, I'm move past you. You don't see how they move before. Me Gege, I'm move past you. I'm move past you. You know I'm rich me guy. I swear to God. That talk, I'm move past you. I'm move past you, Gege. I'm move past you. Ask anybody. See, you go argue this thing, but I swear to God, I'm move past you. You don't see how they move before. Me Gege.
We are a poor nation. The bank coal will follow. They say firewood not fall. They say we need to plant more trees. And they are not giving us money. We need to open our eyes, try shining, and tell the West. If you don't guarantee our finances and work with us to stop this, we are not going to comply with your climate change. They do it.
They do it. You hear that, Mumu? Yeah. He said that because Tinubu did Muslim tickets, so they want to remove him because of that. And because of Nigeria oil. That's one of the dumbest things I've always been hearing, Sha. America is coming because of our resources. America is coming because of our... And you forgot that there is a $20 billion pipeline project which Nigeria agreed to tap your own gas from the eastern Nigeria straight to Europe. A project that America is superheading. You don't know that? They're going to be taking that. The project is ongoing. It is called the KKK. Right? That one is not by shooting a gun. America is very much invested in your energy sector in Nigeria. And your crude oil. It's so funny. Nigeria is producing 1.3 or 1.4 million barrels of crude oil every day. America is producing 21.5 million barrels of crude oil every day. The biggest refinery in Africa and possibly in the world soon, Dangote refinery, relies on the American crude oil that is being shipped, the one that is being pumped from a Texas oil field. Yeah. America is supplying Nigeria crude oil, because that's what I'm going to say. Dangote is in Nigeria. Your crude oil cannot even supply Dangote. Are you not ashamed? Dangote is relying now on American crude oil. And it's been on that now for over, I think, a year. Are you aware? No? Ask these criminals what they have done with your resources. In your National Assembly today, right? They were having a chat. Was it today or yesterday? I think it was just yesterday. And they were talking about a report of a missing $300 billion, unremitted $300 billion by the Nigerian NNPC. That's your crude oil money. Do you know where the money is? Because these guys are looking for it.
An interim report of the Ad Hoc Committee on Crude Oil Theft on the investigation of the incessant and nefarious acts of crude oil theft in the Niger Delta and its actors. Mr. President, thank you. That the federal government should mandate the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, to strictly implement, enforce internationally acceptable crude oil measurement standards at all production sites and export terminals, or restore back to the Weights and Measures Department of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment to the upstream sector.
This is still an interim report. The final report is not here, but from the interim report, the Ad Hoc Committee's recommendation on the fact that we should trace, track, and recover oil proceeds of stolen crude oil transaction. Mr. President, as forensic review by the consultant shows over $22 billion, $81 billion, and $200 billion. Mr. President, this fund that is mentioned in this report, if you look at it, all put together, we are talking about $300 billion. And it is expected that the consultant that handled this should come up with the detailed list of those that are involved in these kind of actions, so that we can start from there by, one, looking at how they arrived at this to defraud the country to the sum of $300 billion.
Abdul Ningi, and I represent Bauchi Central of Bauchi State. First of all, let me say this is a very detailed report. But this is a report that we should take our time, look at it, look at the findings. In view of the findings, whether or not the recommendation tallies with the findings. You look at page 30, foreign recovery. It goes, analysis of document by A.G. Abonyema, a consultant to the committee, revealed a total shortfall of $81 billion between expected receipts of crude proceeds declared by the NNPC DPR in 2016 and in 2017, and receipts declared by CBI respectively. Also based on interim investigation of crude sales from 2015 to date, other investigation by the international consultant in the United Kingdom and Canada, the committee projects the discovery of 200 billion of unaccounted crude oil sales proceeds which require further investigation and recovery.
Senate, or indeed the National Assembly, doesn't have the constitutional latitude or empowered by any law of the Federation to go and collect money from anybody. Ours is to produce a report and then send it to the executive arm of government. And then the president, who is the head of the executive arm of government, may choose to use the condolences or EFCC or whatever, or the police to recover these funds. But it's not within our latitude, our legal mandate.
Deputy Senate President, to commend the Committee on Reparation and then the Special Ad Hoc Committee on Crude Oil Theft, headed by our brother, distinguished Senator Ned Nwoko, for this interim report. I believe it's a step in the right direction. So we will not go into the full prayers until we have the full report before us. But
how many times would they tell you before you know that Nigeria is not for you? Ah! Now they never leave you. They have left you behind. Photo, not be juju be that. Sorry, oh. May God not allow them, make them kill you. 70 years old man. Oh. Now you mumu na too much. You be mumu. You think say they wise.
The way APC is running Nigeria is so diabolical that many actually believe that they use juju. Because you hear some ridiculous things and you expected the people to be so alarmed and enraged. They will just be like, now wow, eh? Can you imagine? Hey, all those reactions, none of them is ever really put into use per se, just reaction. They are coming to steal our resources. America is coming to come and steal our resources. The one that you actually have no clue of, you have no idea of. You are an oil producing country, and you are also the poverty capital of the world. The criminals who are stealing these hundreds of billions of dollars worth of your own resources, they are telling you that being poor is because the resources is not enough. Your population is too big. Oh, look at the Qatar. What is the population of Qatar? Qatar is no more than Bayelsa. What is the population of UAE? What is the population of Saudi? Let's be honest. The resources is not enough. People need to But hundreds of billions of dollars worth of your resources are leaving the shores of Nigeria every year into the private pocket of these rogues and their international collaborators. But you are shouting, our oil, our oil. These criminals spent $3.5 billion loan. They borrowed the money. $3.5 billion in rehabilitating your refineries. Then they came up, they said, oh, it's working now. Everything is working. Only for it to shut down a week later for another maintenance. Oh, then they put them up for sale. Then they took them off the sale list that we're not selling them anymore. Now they are putting the Port Harcourt refinery back on sale. $1.5 billion. Come and buy this crap. The same refinery, they spent $1.7 billion in fixing. As recent as March this year. So if shame gets name, it should be those of you who have been sort of like tuned into a machine of a Dumbo, walking Dumbos. You don't have the resources. It's not yours. You need to go to the areas where they're actually drilling this oil and wish that you are proud to actually be an oil producing country. the areas where these people live, where all the environment have become so destroyed, they are still begging government to please fulfill their promise of cleaning their areas. Clean the areas so that we can farm and fish. And it remains a pipe dream promises from government to government to government. The degradation continues. People keeps dying in their young ages of like undescribable causes, right? But the dollars, I mean, the oil keeps pumping. And these guys keep smiling to the bank, right? Telling you that it is your oil, it is your resources. So you want to come for your resources. What about other things they are taking from you? That if you have the data, how would you react? Obviously nothing. You'll do nothing, right? Right. Now let's go back to these killings, okay? So Tinubu's government, yesterday, they were busy. They called all of the ambassadors, diplomats, foreign diplomats to Nigeria, in their way of explaining to them that, listen, this Donald Trump is wrong. There's no genocide here. We are progressing. It's because the economy is moving now. Everything is getting better. That's why America hates Nigeria. America wants to stop the progress of Nigeria. I was like, what are you talking about? What progress is that exactly? So they called the diplomat to explain to them. I won't bore you with a lot of what they say, but I just want to give you the show, the scene, what it looked like, explained themselves yesterday. And today, Donald Trump is already finalized what is going to happen next. And you get to see.
To reduce the import dependency and improve the trade balance, tax compliance, expanding the tax base and enhancing collection efficiency to increase the tax to GDP stability depends on diversification beyond oil. To this end, energy sector reform. Crude oil production has risen above 1.6 million barrels per day, has also restored upstream investment confidence by improving fiscal terms and encouraging gas commercialization. Nigeria instead.
They do shalaye. You know, they are doing shalaye to the foreign diplomats who obviously have everything about the country on their desk. Yeah, that's why they are there, to gather information about Nigeria, what is real and what is not. So ABC, Egbekegbe also sent Felix Moka, their spokesperson, to arise to go do some spinning on this subject. Here is Felix Moka, brethren. And also Dele Alakori too, but Moka first.
I'm not sure that I would characterize it as such. The announcement by the President of the United States, Donald Trump, yes, it's of concern to everyone, of concern to us, of concern to, and should be of concern to every Nigerian, for sure. But I'm not sure that, I have taken the time to reckon whether this is the most difficult challenge that the APC has faced. Because, beyond the mention by the President of the US, nothing has happened to suggest that this is really an existential crisis. Now, let me just say that the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is on top of this matter. I think we all listened to the address by the Honorable Minister of Information, where he was laying out some of the government's thinking and position on this matter. And I think that usually, under international relations and international law, matters like this are dealt, behind in the back channels between the governments involved. In this case, our government and the government of the United States. Look, I am very certain that when, this, proposed threat by the US President is subjected to proper evaluation and analysis, I don't have any doubt that, it will not, by their own standard, pass every test or any test of reasonableness. Because, the facts on which this suggestion is made, is flawed. It doesn't pan out in reality. There's no, Christian genocide occurring in Nigeria. Charles, you and I have had this conversation, over the, last couple of years, and no one denies that we are challenged by insecurity, largely unleashed by, these forces of terror, who I think make capital and make, just sadism out of, slaughtering people, especially defenseless people. But I think that the government of Nigeria has also been very vehement in responding to these threats. So, for me, as an international law expert and someone who is also was trained in the United States and who understands U.S. legal system, especially their constitutional system, I think I'm probably one of the last people to worry or to freak out about this, situation we're discussing, because I know the U.S. is, a democratic country, with reasonable and reasonably managed, institutions that will weigh in on this. When the facts are put on the table, they will find that the Nigerian state has never been a participant in any program of violence targeted at Christians or anyone else for that matter in the country. They have not. Now, yes, admittedly, the violence we have all witnessed, my earpiece is not staying, so my apologies. The violence we've witnessed has mostly been conducted by non-state actors. These are not Nigerian, military forces that are targeting Nigerians, whether Christians or Muslims. But the facts are that, yes, there's violence perpetrated mostly by, terror organizations and groups, in the country, especially in the northern, parts of our country. But they have also been the target of very serious program of military response and action to defeat terror. Now, at this point, I think that the U.S. government clearly, as, in a standing, as, perhaps some would say, the leaders of the free world, have a responsibility to work with the Nigerian government, to strategically partner with the Nigerian government, share whatever intelligence that they have to support the Nigerian government to defeat this common enemy, of terror. Now, let me say this, Charles, before you jump in again, and I appreciate you giving me this time to say this. Now, can you imagine? We're already dealing with, this act of terror. Can you imagine what would happen if the United States entered into this theater without guidance, without proper partnership with the Nigerian government? Now, the consequence of that prospective action will not, be contained in Nigeria. Now, what happens in a country of over 200 million people? Should this violence escalate to the point where we begin to really, push refugees out of this country? This will destabilize every country around this region. And the United States itself will not be spared by the pressure that will be unleashed from, really creating an environment where Nigerians feel that they are unsafe and have to then push out of Nigeria. I'm sure that the United States and President Trump is not about to begin a program that will in fact create, proper destabilization, not just in Nigeria, but in neighboring countries, but for that matter, Europe and even Northern America will, I think...
He has no job.
Babawiri. Felix, so you can explain yourself. You are not throwing punches. You're not threatening. The Felix Mocker that I know would have actually threatened Donald Trump directly by using the same verbals and all that. Sure you get. Now everybody knows that there is a problem. And they are trying to pretend that it is not that serious. America will still reason. Don't worry. You're talking about Nigerians being displaced and becoming refugees in another country. Is Nigerian government aware that there are over 300,000 Nigerians who are refugees in Cameroon? Is Nigerian government aware that there are nearly 500,000 Nigerian refugees in Niger Republic? Is Nigeria aware that as recent as last year, one of your states in Nigeria had to negotiate with Chad in taking back over 250,000 Nigerians who have run to Chad? There are Nigerians who are refugees in Benin Republic as we speak. So what is he talking about? Who are those who chase those people away? Who are these killers? How many of them are currently standing trial or convicted as captured? You criminals are bragging, especially that Borno governor. They have rehabilitated over 200,000 repentant terrorists. Terrorists that kidnapped children when they were in their diapers, raped them. They then returned 10 years later, and the government of Nigeria is welcoming them as terrorists and their families and their wives. They are calling these children, these victims with 2-3 children, kids. They are calling these children wives of the repentant terrorists. All those crimes are staring everybody in the face right there. And you think the rest of the world is probably never going to notice? So now they are talking about Nigeria being destabilized. Okay, it's got sense. I mean, it's got kind of point there when he said, you see, if America entered Nigerian theater this way, right, unguided, so they may end up escalating the whole thing. Maybe it's got a point. So that's why Nigeria should stop telling, the Nigerian Tinubu's regime should stop telling Nigerians that America want to invade Nigeria. Rather, they should begin to make proposal of partnership to say, listen, we welcome you, we welcome this, right? I said something yesterday on this matter, 2 days ago rather. I said, if I was Tinubu, even though so far they all know what to do, but because of political exigencies, they call them, they can't do it because it is not going to look good on him. They could easily turn that on him. Fine. Political disabi. Now, Donald Trump wants to take the responsibility. Why not just let him? Right? By guiding, by partnering with them and say, listen, here are a few things we have, and this is, information we have. Let's have what you have, and let's go into this together. So that we can guide and tell you areas and all of that we believe, we'll pass through the official channel to say, these are the areas we're going to target. This, and that time. Isn't that easier than going all this media round to deny the Christian genocide in Nigeria? Okay, 1 second. A member of this platform, and that is our own one and only Yomi Totu, did publish a book, and I wanted to check it out on Amazon. It is about one of the Yoruba's gods, our own sort of like ancestors, so to say, a warrior, Shango, and his own lifetime and all that captured in a book. If you ask somebody who is a collector, this may be one they should keep or collect for keep. Check this link. Yeah, it's on Amazon. Your patronage is going to be highly appreciated, right? Dele Alakori, who initially was expected to be appointed the Minister of Misinformation under Tinubu, ended up in the solid minerals sector, an area where to show you that Tinubu has a great interest, and the only trusted person that could handle that place is his own official mouthpiece, Dele Alakori. Dele Alakori has been making the whole thing himself, partnering with the Chinese, with the Europeans, and everybody that could officially partner with him. And whatever data he released is the data that they will tell you, or it's the official data of their mineral resources exploration and exploitation in that contraption, right? So Delhi Alakori, because of this, this pending American airstrike against the terrorists. So let me give you a bit of a context before I play this video. All right, it's important. It is evidence that, listen, the areas, the hot zones where these terrorists remained very, very strong have also been areas where illegal minings are taking place across the northern Nigeria. In fact, the search for these rare earth minerals, right, is said to be one of the drives behind this whole violence. Because those who are sponsoring the terrorists in Nigeria are targeting lands, not just the land, but what is under the land, in which most communities couldn't even explain what exactly attracted these terrorists to their communities. And we have heard of different private airstrips across northern part of Nigeria that are completely off the radar, where most of these extracted, illegally mined, rare earth minerals are being transported outside Nigeria. And in return, they bring back weapons that they supply to these terrorists. Now, maybe America also have this information in this sense, and saying they want to bomb some specific strategic areas where these terrorists are based could indirectly be America saying they want to blow up all these illegal mines across northern Nigeria. And in that aspect, Dele Alakori had to come and speak up and try to spin something like a Felix Moka by denying the genocide going on in Nigeria. Like, what really constituted the genocide? The person you're about to watch is a nuisance. If you're tired, tell me to take him off. I will take him off. But please, I just gave you the background of the reason why this person is now calling his own press conference over the Americans' threat.
Whereas some people still bandy that as, oh, where are those people who did this? Where are the perpetrators? They are not brought to book. They are not this. They are not that. Even the Yeltada, the one in Yelwada, that happened in Plateau, in Benue, they had been apprehended, arrested, and are facing prosecution. And that's an eloquent testimony to the fact that government is alive to its responsibilities and is not shirking any, duties of protecting lives and properties. So it's important for us as purveyors of information, as I said, to be circumspect when it comes to reporting of sensitive issues. Because you need a peaceful, stable country to be able to practice whichever profession, especially journalism. In the middle of conflagration, you may not even have an office to go to. So it is in our own individual interest to ensure that we invoke that subject of mass communication in graduate school, which is called responsibility theory of the press, which means the press has a responsibility to the society in which it is operating. Because if there's no society, there's no press, there's nothing, there's no institution. So even on a selfish note, we have a duty to protect the sanctity of our nation and of our society so that we can practice our profession in an unfettered environment, in a peaceful, progressive environment. And what the minister just said about you supporting our security agencies in combating the security is also very, very important. And I'll give you one simple idea of how the media inadvertently perpetuates a wrong narrative. For instance, when terrorists kill members of the security agencies, like the military, the screaming headline is always X number of soldiers killed by terrorists. Killed. That's the active word. Conversely, when our military succeed in killing terrorists, the headline is usually the military says it or claims it has. That immediately creates a specter of cynicism and skepticism, unbelievability, which further strengthens the hands of the terrorists.
Now to on far. Ma okuta tó wà ńbẹ̀ ma yọ kúrò ńbẹ̀. Ma sabi gbàtà bá ń sa ẹ̀wà. Now to on far. Ma okuta tó wà ńbẹ̀ ma yọ kúrò ńbẹ̀. Ma sabi gbàtà bá ń sa ẹ̀wà.
Dele Alakori. He was there to gaslight the media and Nigerians by saying, you need to be patriotic. You need to be, you are not lying enough. You are not like spinning this thing enough. Nigerians seem to be happy that America is coming, and that is wrong. You need to tell the people what the government is doing. You need to report. You need to praise the military, the blah, the blah, the blah. Because that is what they feed on. Psychophancy. Lie to them. But he couldn't even pronounce Yelawata. He said in Plateau, no, Benue. He had no idea where over 300 Nigerians were slaughtered. Some of them got bombed in their own houses. A government minister who is all over the place enjoying the stealing of your resources. Yeah. He's enjoying it. So, right now, the America coming can truncate all of that, terminate everything. They have a lot to lose. Because you know what? The moment indeed Donald Trump, if Donald Trump did what they did in Iran, Tinubu will be fine. But if what Donald Trump wants to do or is said to be planning to do in Nigeria is done, I can promise all of you watching this video right now that Tinubu's days are now numbered. And it is not in your control, not in mine. What happened going forward from here is not in your control, neither is it in mine. Shall you understand? His days will be numbered, right? And what did they do in Iran? They just went in, bombed their bunker where they kept where they are building their nuclear, what have you, right? Boom. And they flew back to wherever they flew from. In this instance, America is drafting their AFRICOM, which is their Africa command. Is that what is called AFRICOM? African Command. Their bases all over Africa. They are moving them close. It can't be like say, they want to invade the northern Nigeria to eliminate the Fulani, Boko Haram, jihadists, and the rest of them. Now that is what the northern Nigeria would expect Tinubu to push back. But in this case, he can't per se. Russia won't do anything. China won't move a limb. They won't even lift a limb. None of them is going to fight because of an African country. Nah. Rather, they will gather like hawk to see what they could get. I'm not saying this because it sounds so petty. I'm just reminding you that I do not have control over it. I'm just sharing an information that will likely change everything soon. So Dele Alakori and Co., they have every reason to be afraid. If I was them, I would be. Yeah, I would be. Because everything seems to be going fine. People are decamping to Tinubu's party. The other political parties are much in disarray. The National Assembly is in its pockets. The military are there to protect the regime, not the people. The police, indeed, they are there to provide, bodyguard for these politicians, not to provide security and safety for the people. The other thing they do to the people is to extort them and kill them. So, in the long run, right, you are on your own. So if they can't go do mistake, can't go carry gun, give you, that one will boomerang. Here you get. It will boomerang. And that will be the end of Nigeria. I know the way I said it is like I'm enjoying it. No, I am not. No, not like that. Here is the thing. The incompetency of those who have seized power in Nigeria has caused lives. Now, if you have any reason, or if you, in a democracy, right, the only set of people that could pressure the government to do what is right and fix a problem, they are the people. You. There is a provision in that your constitution for you to pressure your government to do something, either by protest or picketing. You can picket the government office, National Assembly. Everybody will be there. They won't go anywhere until something is done. Do you get that? All of these rights have been taken away from you. You can't even express yourselves freely. It is that bad that you are not practicing any democracy, courtesy of these rogues who call themselves progressives. So you need a higher power in this sense. If you can't do it, you've lost your will. You've lost your strength and the rest of that to challenge them. An higher power can do it. It's just that you are likely not going to be the determinant of the end of it. There are things cooking for next year anyway. It's just that Christmas is coming early. So Tinubu and his gang continue to issue orders to the military, crush them, do this, do that. But in reality, it is all performative. Just let's show that we are doing something. The people displaced need to be returned back to their homes. You cannot build IDP camps and say you are giving them homes there. No. They need to go back to their homes. The terrorists who are occupying their lands right now needs to either be executed or chased away. It's a very simple thing, isn't it? Anything short of that, Baba, they have to take whatever comes new. So here is another affirmation. Okay, affirmation of what is really going on from the eyewitnesses account. Let me remind you, or remind us a quick one. If you have come this far, that simply means that you enjoy this, right? You kind of like enjoy this conversation to you. So if you do, please like the broadcast. If you haven't, just once, like it once, and you can continue with the engagement and all that, right? Here is Prophet Isa al-Buba also reacting, and this will be probably the optimum time. He's been very, very vocal. He is one of those who is so grateful that this is happening. Spin it for all you like. If you are from any of these areas where people have become the straightforward victims, this news will mean something like this to you too. So, Prophet Buba.
All these years you've been living in Nigeria, how much have you enjoyed the resources of this country? That's the question you ask yourself. They are the ones fueling, they are the ones empowering the bandits. You will see the video that you will watch. You will see the bandits moving around with AK-47, with sophisticated weapon, sponsored by politicians in this country. All right. In one of the videos, you will even hear one of the Fulani men, when they were called for them to surrender and all of that. And he was saying that government was the one that provided these things for them. He said, well, where can an ordinary Fulani man who is used to stick going with his cow have money to go and buy AK-47? These things are deliberate. These things are intentional. And it is not about Donald Trump, threatening that he's coming to war against Muslims. He cannot. He's saying, I am coming after the terrorists. So if now you say that the Muslims are being killed, why don't you open up your arm and say, come and partner with our government and deal with these terrorists? You will see the video that took place just last year or so, if I remember, of the American missionary that was taken by these terrorists, and they demanded 1 million. If not, they will kill him. America sent in their men from America, and they rescued this missionary unhurt. That is just one citizen. How can we be losing tens of thousands and we're politicking, talking all kinds of foolishness and nonsense over the lives of people, blaming, oh, it is not only Christian, it is Muslims also. So are we competing on the number of dates? The reality is that Christians were the first. Christians were being massacred based on their faith. There is a video you're going to see, and I challenge the chief of defense staff who came out to say there is no persecution of Christians in Nigeria. You're a liar. You're a liar. Just look at this video. This is something that happened day before yesterday in a church that was demolished in Maiduguri. Just yesterday. We experienced one some few months ago. And I am asking the Borno State government to act on this matter. We will not take it lightly. We are all citizens in this country. You are living in a land where you as a Christian, you are not at liberty with certain, let me use the word, extremist Islamic worshippers. The killers that are killing the Muslims now, who are they? Are they Jews? Are they Americans? Are they not Muslims? Are they not terrorist Muslims? So why don't the Islamic Council come after them and say, look, it's time we go after people that are destroying our image and destroying our faith? You will never see any Christian attacking any community, not anywhere. Listen to this. I'm going to read it. Gumi tells Tinubu to cut ties with the US if Trump fails to withdraw military threats. Look at this Gumi. Listen to what this Gumi said some time ago on the Guardian News. He said, allow bandits to guard our forests for peace to reign. Shegumi says, allow bandits to guard our forests. So you tell me you don't know the people that are brain behind those bandits, those Fulani killer headsmen? Let me read another one by Pantami, the former minister. Listen to what he said on People's Gazette. He said, Boko Haram terrorists are our Muslim brothers. Shouldn't be killed like pigs, Minister Pantami said. Boko Haram terrorists are our Muslim brothers. Do you hear? Let me read what the Sultan said. The Sultan is the one that is the head of Magma. The Sultan is the head of Mayati Allah. So the Sultan can stop this genocide, this killing. Just what happened day before yesterday in Kanu. They can stop it. Listen to what Sultan said. You fight Almighty Allah when you fight Boko Haram, Sultan of Sokoto. You fight Almighty Allah when you fight Boko Haram. Now, these are the people. And now they are spreading the news around the north that, oh, it is war against Muslims. It is no war against Muslims. The people that are being massacred or killed as Muslims in the far north are people who resist these evil terrorists, evil men. So I will advise President Tinubu, align with President Donald Trump. Let them support you. Let us deal with this matter once and for all. The quarantine is too much. All right? It's too much. No one Nigeria needs to die. Look at Chad. Chad has blocked our borders. Chad has blocked our borders not to allow these terrorists to enter. We here in Nigeria, we are negotiating with terrorists. We are negotiating. Look at the soldier that we lost now, just day before yesterday, that were escorting a member of the House of Representatives. Look at the one that happened in Niger. Look at the one that happened in Katsina. Why are we just let me use the word, going around and denying the facts? This genocide is real. I have all the documents. I can show you the site. The persecution of Christians in certain locations in the north is real. Let's not deny it. It's real. There are certain universities in the north. A Christian will not be given, the admission to study medicine.
There are so many systemic madness that have been allowed to sort of like lasted or festered this long, that they have become part of the rubbish that the fake one Nigeria exhibit. Nigeria is not one country. Don't get me wrong. You probably want to be, but the process of becoming one country doesn't exist in Nigeria. So we have always been the creation of the external interest. And as some will say, we remain the victims of the neocolonialism, the victims of the same external influence, not without the local collaborators who look like me and you, speaks like me and you, walks like me and you, dresses like me and you, and yet they still collude with this external interest to deny us the true citizenship. Nigerians don't have real citizenship. You're a country that is governed by two laws, one national law and one Islamic law, in which there are those who are extremists, who are using the same instrument of violence to push the narrative of the supremacy of their religion. And this exists. People have been killed because of their religion. Yes. And Muslims have been killed too by the same fanatics because they resisted, like he said, or they are considered as people who are not practicing the same Islam like them. We've had all those records anyway. So what is the government doing about it? They gloss over it. They continue to spend money on this false campaign of this national patriotism, while what they are saying is completely different from what they are doing. And there is so much that people can take for so long. Right now, the tragedy of this whole thing is that more than half of Nigerians, home and abroad, actually want this to happen. That's the tragedy of this whole thing. I am not saying a lot of you don't feel so strong about this. However, no matter how you feel about it, just know that more than half of everyone that identified as Nigerian actually want this to happen. This is the kind of cover-up that they have taken away or denied us while we were growing up. They made us believe that by just existing as this Nigerian, right, gives you the citizenship and rights until you grow up and realize that you've got nothing. Nothing. Right before your very eyes, you are seeing your own government prioritizing terrorists, talking about them on TV. Your president is defending terrorists, giving reasons why the only ways and means to peace is to placate the terrorists. Right before your very eyes. You are supposed to be the citizens. You see or you watch your own fellow citizens languishing in dilapidated, structures because they have been chased away from their homes. You feel indifferent and all of that. I mean, come on. How do you then think you are a citizen of a country? You are a citizen of the privilege you have right now until it is taken away from you. Then you will realize that Nigeria is not real. I mean, I've seen that many times. Those who once felt like those of us who are pointing these things out were just either ignorant or stupid or just, I don't know, they've called us different names until Nigeria happens to them or to somebody they know and they change tone. And that is also the tragedy. The tragedy that Nigerians are willing, right, to join hands with the external interest or the external or foreign force to go after not only the terrorists, maybe an opportunity to go after the rotten system in general. In case if you are not reading the pulse of the people, I'm telling you now that there are those who are saying that if it leads to war in Nigeria, they will fight on behalf of the United States of America in their own country. That is the tragedy of what this APC have done to Nigeria. So don't look around and think people reacting this way just arrived here overnight. They didn't. You have ignored it for so long. You've called their bluff. You've laughed at them. You've mocked them. You felt so invincible until you are outed. Now, this is the outing time. Whether they label it a Christian genocide, Muslim genocide, or Nigerian genocide, the thing is this. It's an opportunity to expose the criminals who have been colluding with them, spending your money to train, rehabilitate terrorists, while their victims are wasting away in these places called the refugee camps. Have you ever seen any of them before? These criminals were so cold-hearted that at a point, they actually bombed these same IDP camps. Yes, they did. Nigerian Air Force bombed the IDP camp in Ran in Borno 3 times, not once, not twice, 3 times, They said they thought they were the gathering of a terrorist. Meanwhile, it was during the investigation of a missing or stolen money meant for the same rehabilitation of the internally displaced Nigerians. Babashir Lawal spent 242 million naira clearing grass around a dilapidated abandoned school where hundreds of people were camping at the time. That was what he said. This investigation was what led them to what they call the cover-up, where over 14 billion naira disappeared in the name of fixing the victims of Boko Haram in the early days of Boko Haram's government. This happened. It was a big scandal. In order to cover it up, Nigerian Air Force colluded with the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babashir Lawal. They went around. They didn't just bomb these victims who escaped the Boko Haram terrorism. They bombed those who came to help them. Health workers, charity organizations, those who came to sympathize with them, they were bombed to mysteries. There was no arrest. There was no investigation. It was just passed on. That is the collusion of your government. Horrible, horrible things where people have been like bombed in their own homes, right? In the villages, simply because they just wanted to and they'll come back and say, oh yeah, it was a mistake. Nigerian Air Force bombed a wedding. This one wasn't even like a Christian gathering. It was a gathering of Muslims who were doing wedding in that same northern Nigeria. They bombed them twice, because they said they were Boko Haram. So all this madness have shown that it is either they intentionally remain incompetent or they have become so compromised that Nigerian army has become the danger to the country, a threat to national security. Now it needs to purge itself. You get that now? Like they need to purge themselves of any of this foreign infiltration, which originally is the cause. They are the cause. They rehabilitated terrorists. They put them in their military. Who does that? Other than a terror-enabling regime, which indeed is what APC represents. What's the rest of this?
The admission to study medicine. You can't build church. This is a land that belongs to all of us. You build church, they come and demolish it. You say there's no persecution. Let's not be lying to ourselves. Mutena kariyama kamu. Arewa mune kamu kamu. Sai ranar da muka yadda cewa zamu amshe gaskiya. Gaskiya ita ce gaskiya, kuma gaskiya guda ɗaya ce. Kashe-kashe nan da yake tafiya. Yawanci senators namu, members of the house, governor a nan arewa sun sani. Ko san abin da kuke yi. Sultan ya san abin da yake faruwa. Ya san cewa yana da iko ya siyar da wani abin da ke tafiya. Sai mu zo na muna rudin kanmu cewa America za su zo yake musulmai. Ina ne ko gani America ta yake musulmai? America tana da base ɗinta a Saudi Arabia. America tana da base ɗinta a United a Qatar. America tana da bases ɗinta a kasan musulmai. Ina ko gani? Abin da shi tona turbe ce, wayannan ƴan ta'adda za mu zo gwamnatin Najeriya ba za ta yi komai ba, za mu zo mu kashe wayannan mutane. Me kuke nema? Muna nema a cikin wani kashe mana mutane? Wani rana ne za mu yi hankali a nan arewa. Duk talauci da yake nan, duk wahalar jama'a, duk abin da mutane suke fuskanta. Sai a dan ana bar malamai suna siye akan pulpit, akan magari, suna ta magana banza kawai. Wai arne kaza, nonsense. Nonsense. This evil, you must stop it. You must stop this evil in the north of Nigeria. Let's face the truth, okay? The life of one person, my Muslim brothers, my Christian sisters, whether it is an enemy, is very important. You don't have the right to be killing people, to grab their land. Right now, I want to admonish the government of Nigeria, all the communities that have been, the people have been sent away, and the terrorists are living there. Go and prove to Nigerians that you're ready to clean up. Those villages are occupied by the terrorists. You know those places. Let's stop lying to ourselves. Let's stop lying to ourselves. And I want to admonish every Nigerian. We must all stand with one voice. The killing of Christians is not glorious. The killing of Muslims is not glorious. But we must face the fact. We must face the fact. All of these Islamic clerics that are fueling more fire, deceiving people with deception, we must close them. Nigerian government, you know them, go after them, burn them, and then these things will come to an end. They are breeding wickedness and they are breeding terrorists in the form of Al-Majri. While the moderate Muslims will not be allowed to survive, the moderate Muslims will not be allowed to stand. If they do anything, they come after them and kill them. We must stop this. And you, government, you know it. You have the laws with you. And so I call on Nigerians. On the 29th, we shall gather in different locations and pray and lift up our nation. And we are calling.
Okay. We'll leave you to that. Happy praying. But indeed, it's been like that for quite some time now. Like, he's not an emergency person talking about this. He may not have the kind of gathering like all those bigger pulpit bandits. But he's been very, very, very outspoken on this matter. Yeah. And right now, they are among those who will welcome an arrangement where people can protect themselves. So let me remind you of something. Okay. And that is, what do you think may likely happen? I've mentioned that earlier, right? I'm going to repeat it. America is not coming to invade Nigeria. I want to believe. But there is a world invasion in part of what they are planning, invading the northern Nigeria where these terrorists are holding sway. So, and others are believing that this is going to trigger something else and all that. Fine. What is likely going to happen then is that, well, if Nigeria doesn't break up, if this whole thing gets, if this whole thing becomes kind of like escalated, right? If Nigeria doesn't break up, there is now going to be a chance of a proper legislation that is going to demarcate the Sharia North, where they are, where they can practice their Sharia, their blasphemy, and the rest of that. From the Middle Beltans and other Christian sort of like, lands around the area, they could get demarcated completely. Not only would they be demarcated in the new restructured Nigeria, there is now going to be a law that allows all of us to defend ourselves truly. You get what I mean now? So there is a chance that the Middle Beltans will become the first part of Nigeria that will be armed by the Americans because of their faith. You get me now? They are Christians identified as that, and they are at the frontal part of, the priority of the American mission if they come and do what they want to do in Nigeria. So that simply means the Middle Beltans for the first time will be the first set of Nigeria, part of Nigeria that will have the chance to bear arms and defend themselves because of this. So America could do that, I'm just saying. Which simply means that the jihadists themselves will now realize that to cross over to the southern part of Nigeria, they will really need to go in circle. They will need to go through Cameroon and come through Bakassi to enter the south, or go through Benin Republic, Burkina Faso, Benin Republic, and find their way to the west. Middle Belt will become a complete fortress backed by the Americans. That is possible. Yeah. And when that happens, it is also going to motivate the rest of the part of Nigeria then. And the next, who have kind of been working on it anyway, will be the Biafrans. If the Middle Beltans becomes armed to defend themselves. It's not like Middle Beltans or Christians are going to go and kill anybody. Don't get me wrong. It just means that if you are not going to enter any village, no matter how small the village is, in the Middle Belt part of Nigeria, to attack them, you won't live alive. None of you will live. Do you get what I mean? That is possible. So, the Biafrans will get armed. This time, all the political blockade and everything that has held that part of the Nigeria back, which is political, right, will begin to kind of like untangled. Again, go sit back and think or reflect on what I've just said. Because if America shoots the first bomb in any part of Nigeria, that is going to change everything. And that then comes to us in Yoruba land. So those of you who have been very much antagonistic of the idea of a self-rule, simply because of Tinubu will become irrelevant very soon if this whole thing escalates. It will become irrelevant. At that point, it will likely even be lucky to be alive again if this escalates. So where would the Yoruba be? Who would you now give as your reasons why your continuous loyalty to Nigeria, which is fake, if all of us are being honest? If you see any Yoruba man that is proud of Nigeria, he is either stupid or he is fake. We are more loyal to our own ethnic or tribes than we are to Nigeria, let's be honest. But yeah, there could be some few outliers who are living in their own Delulu and the rest. So what would you probably think is the reason why you still want to keep shouting one Nigeria? Because if things get to that stage, it will be so sad, right? That will be the most vulnerable. Because some criminals have helped to not only to disarm us physically, they have disarmed us mentally. I hope those of you who have been very, very much like ready for a turn-off event if this happens, because a lot of you will be so shocked in what is going to happen next. If this escalates, don't get me wrong, I'm saying if this escalates, and that's the extreme of it. And it's good to think about that, right? So where would we be? I'll leave you with that, okay? So let's take a bit of a detour, because a few weeks back, I think, a month, Paulu was in Owerri, and he was talking about, like the same passive way, like, you know, playing it down. The first time when the issue of putting Nigeria on the CPC popped up, he's talking about he inherited Islam from his father. His wife is a Christian. Others are currently explaining to Americans that Tinubu loves Christians, even though it's a Muslim ticket. Fraudsters Otobokeyamo was on Twitter explaining to Americans that Tinubu is a God-loving, blah, blah, blah. He appointed Christians. He appointed Christians as a military head. He appointed Christians as ministers. So it would be so wrong to accuse him of. So it all started from this.
I inherited Islam from my family. I didn't change. But my wife is a pastor. She prays for me. No conflict. And I never did at any single time to convince her or convert her. I believe in the freedom of religion. We are praying to the same God. We are answerable to the same Almighty God. We will answer to Him. We will account to Him. Our deed, our character, our love to our fellow beings is what is important. Not the method and the faith of being.
Kalu, you have to Kanu jets. You have other fighter jets. Nigeria have drones. Yeah, armed drones. Nigeria can drop drones. Now, terrorists are working with Chinese. But Nigeria is not a real place, right? Did you know that not only that the terrorists in Nigeria are Islamic jihadists, as we have seen, right? They are also working with some other, like, foreigners, like the Chinese. Terrorists in Nigeria are using drones, or these kind of like ordinary drones, okay? They will go and spy on the area and all of that. So once they spot any Nigerian movement, Nigerian army movement, so they'll go on and then attack them. Then they started attaching explosives, right? They turned all these toy drones. They are not military grade though, toy drones. They started attaching explosive to them, right? So they would just fly them into a place with camera and all of that. They would drop them and bomb any Nigerian military base or anywhere they just want to, yeah? Sometimes they make the videos, they publish them online. But Nigerian government have what do you call the nuclear so drones that actually carries nuclear head. No, not nuclear head. That carries a bomb. Because Nigeria don't get nuclear bomb. They do. But guess what? They are using them to make TikTok videos. They'll be flying and all of that, showing all of that drama, this kitted up and all that to make TikTok videos every month. While the terrorists are moving just as they want. And they are telling themselves that the terrorists have mixed up with people, so they can't really go after them. So when the terrorists are passing, the Nigerian army will be shooting in the air. Pa, 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 pa. The terrorists will just look at them and just laugh. And they keep going to go and carry out their attacks. That is the state of that contraption. You get me? So it's not like I have a vote. But yeah, it's always good for you to be aware of the intricacies of all these things going on. Because if it escalates, like this guy is doing.
The United States of America has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office, where I rebuilt the military. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it having to do with nuclear weapons, but I really had no choice. Russia is second in line and China is a distant third, but will be even within 5 years. Because of other countries' testing programs, I've instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The United
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Life no balance. So one thing I can also assure you tonight is that sorry, I just remember that laugh there. Okay. So one thing I want to remind you of tonight again is that no matter how much your imagination runs wild, okay, don't ever think Russia or China will look into America's eyes and say, if you touch Nigeria, we're going to fight you. Don't get deluded that much. You're on your own. And right now, before it is too late, they should bring out those Tucano jets and start bombing the shit out of those terrorists they are doing peace meeting with. If they have to lure them out to another peace meeting, a massive one, like Obasanjo did to Asari Doku dump, and the rest of all those Niger Delta terrorists who claimed to be Niger Delta militants at the time, when Obasanjo wanted to deal with them, right? They were making the waves, shooting, kidnapping everyone around the oil facilities in Niger Delta. And they became very notorious that they made the international news. So Nigeria's oil production plummeted, which means dropped. That infuriated Obasanjo, but he didn't act angry immediately. So he called for a peace meeting, right? So from Port Harcourt, where all of them who bought the bait, where all of them gathered, including Asari Doku dump, they took them in a presidential jet, Obasanjo's presidential jet. They took them to Abuja. When they got to Abuja, they were like march down straight to the, maybe 18 or something in Abuja. Sure, you get Nikon 18. So they were there for the whole 2 weeks. They didn't see Obasanjo. So Obasanjo now said that they should tell them to go back. Then there was a ceasefire. Sure, you get like the federal government want to negotiate. So Obasanjo sent them back. And they went back to their creeks and all that. Like 3 months later, because they said Obasanjo traveled, so he wouldn't be able to meet them, and he was so busy, but he would still see them. So the next time, like about 3 or 4 months later, they said Obasanjo is ready now to meet with them, but the presidential jet wasn't available. They're going to put them on the private jet from Port Harcourt. So they put them on the private jet, including Asari Doku dump, right? From Port Harcourt straight to Abuja International Airport. And from that Abuja International Airport, straight to Kuje Prison, all of them. And from Kuje Prison, straight to solitary confinement. Guess what? These were the leaders of the Niger Delta militancy. There was this cold chill that first went through the entire Niger Delta. How did that happen? For more than a year, they couldn't see their leaders. So I'm putting that out there as a context. That if the government is indeed interested in getting rid of these criminals, they can invite them for another round of a peace talk. Yeah? And you can then clear the mess. If you do that 2-3 times in the next 48 hours, maybe we'll be having a different conversation in the next 72 hours. As you go to bed tonight, don't sleep with the 2 eyes, if you can. So thank you very much. I have other things I wanted to share, but time is completely out of space. I appreciate your time with me tonight, including the the chatters, the commenters, the sharers, the super chatters, and then my new subscribers too. Welcome on board. Welcome to the Temple of Truth. You're going to find it really, really interesting here. Just make sure that you are not a politically correct person. And you are not, this one Nigerianist that has bought so much of their propaganda. So, anything from that, you're going to find this space interesting. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, right? And if you haven't liked the broadcast, please do. Okay, as you are signing out, I'm going to see you another time. Good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun Diary politico. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. àní ẹ̀sùn àjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn àjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn àjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn àjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn àjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn àjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn àjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn àjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn àjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Òkúra olóṣèlú.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn àjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Ha! Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́, ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o, ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.